There's a conflict being fought right now that you can't see. It's not fought with missiles or jets, but with invisible waves of data. It's the story of a ghost in the signal, and we're about to dive in and find it. So let's just start with the big mystery here. How do you take one of the most advanced spy planes on the planet, a plane just packed with high-end technology, and force it to turn tail and run without ever firing a weapon? That's the puzzle we're going to unpack today. All right, let's set the scene. The date is October 23rd, 2025, and what's about to happen goes down in just a few seconds. But honestly, it sounds like something straight out of a movie. I mean, just look how fast this whole thing unravels. At time zero, you've got an Indian aircraft flying what looks like a totally normal route. 1 second later, bam, its transponder starts screaming 7500. That's the universal code for a hijacking. 2 seconds in, it's diving in an emergency descent. And by second 3, it's over. The plane just gives up and turns back. No calls for help, just pure electronic chaos, and a full retreat in 3 seconds. So to really get what happened, we need to meet the main character in this whole drama, the plane itself. And let me tell you, this was no regular passenger jet. So what we're looking at here is an Indian Air Force Gulfstream G550. Now, that sounds like a fancy business jet, and it was, but it's been completely gutted and rebuilt into an incredibly powerful spy plane. Its whole job is what the military calls ELINT and ISR. Basically, it's a giant flying vacuum cleaner for electronic signals. It's designed to just suck up intel, making it a priceless tool for peeking deep into enemy territory. And on this day, it was flying high and fast right on Pakistan's doorstep. And this is where it gets really sneaky. See, to the outside world, this plane was putting on an act. It was trying to look like a boring old civilian airliner. Its transponder was on, broadcasting its location just like everybody else. But in reality, its military hardware was lit up, actively scanning and spying on sensitive Pakistani military sites. It was a total wolf in sheep's clothing. So you've got this eye in the sky snooping around. How did Pakistan respond? Well, not by scrambling fighter jets. Nope. They used something way more subtle, an electronic ambush. So what in the world is electronic warfare? Well, think about it like this. Almost all modern military gear, planes, ships, you name it, they all rely on the electromagnetic spectrum. It's how they see, how they talk, how they find their way. EW is the art of turning that spectrum into a battlefield. Instead of shooting something down, you just blind it, you jam it, and you lie to it until it's completely useless. 6 seconds. Get this. That's how long it took from the moment that Indian spy plane flipped on its gear to the moment Pakistan's ground network locked on and started fighting back. Not 6 minutes, 6 seconds. That's an almost instantaneous counterattack. And this is the arsenal they brought to the fight. It wasn't one single weapon, it was this whole integrated network of homegrown tech. We're talking massive noise jammers, GPS spoofers, and the real star of the show, something called DRFM. Now think of DRFM as a super smart jammer. It doesn't just blast static, it actually records an enemy signal, changes it, and plays it back to them. It's the ultimate electronic trick. All of this together created a digital net, and that spy plane flew right into it. And that brings us to the attack itself. It's what the pros call a soft kill. You disable the target, you make it abort its mission, but you don't physically destroy anything. So how'd they pull it off? The attack was this perfectly executed 4-step process. First, they went after the transponder, making the plane cry wolf with a fake hijack code. Second, they hit the sensors, just flooding them with so much electronic noise they went completely dark. Third, they messed with its navigation, spoofing the GPS so the pilots thought they were 120 miles from where they actually were. And finally, for the finishing move, they just cut the cord, severing its data link to command. This chart just lays it all out, and the after column is just devastating. You've got this multi-million-dollar spy plane that goes from a huge threat to, well, a blind, deaf, and lost airplane that thinks it's being hijacked and can't talk to anyone, all in the blink of an eye. And to give you an idea of that sensor blackout, that number, negative 120 dBm, might not mean much, but here's what it is. It's the digital equivalent of a flashbang grenade going off right next to your ear. It's just a wall of noise so overwhelming that the plane's sensitive equipment couldn't hear a single thing. Absolute sensory overload. So what was the fallout from all this? Well, this wasn't just some technical win. This event sent a massive strategic message about how the modern battlefield is changing, and fast. I mean, the pilot's reaction really tells the whole story. You're in that cockpit, everything is going haywire. What do? They initiated a steep emergency dive, dropping at 4,000 feet a minute. They aborted the mission, turned around, and got out of there. And the most amazing part of it all? The spy plane was turned back without a single shot ever being fired. Now, this is what's really fascinating, the spin. Publicly, the official story was that the plane had an unexpected GPS anomaly, just a little technical glitch. But internally, yeah, the story was very, very different. A senior officer admitted that it was Pakistan's new EW system that had completely neutralized their state-of-the-art aircraft. And this really gets to the core of it. This whole incident wasn't just about one plane on one day. It's a huge signpost for the future. It's the beginning of a new era where it might not matter who has the fastest jet, but who controls the invisible world of the electromagnetic spectrum. So, at the end of the day, this soft kill was a powerful demonstration. It showed that Pakistan hadn't just built a defensive shield, but that they had a real potent offensive capability in electronic warfare. It was a strategic message, sent loud and clear, without ever making a sound. And that leaves us with one final, pretty unsettling thought. In a world where wars can be won or lost with invisible signals and digital deception, what does a front line even look like anymore? The battlefield is everywhere there's a signal. And that, well, that changes everything.